Source: The World God Only Knows. Welcome back to AniRecapz. Like and subscribe so you never miss our quality uploads. Keima Katsuragi is known on the internet for his ability to capture any girl in any bisujo game. Although the girls in real life do not appeal to him, he accidentally accepts a contract with a demon named Elsia de Rux Aima, or Elsie, who wants his help in capturing evil spirits that have escaped from hell and have hidden in girls' hearts. Keima must find a way to make girls fall in love with him in order to force these spirits out, or else both of them will be killed by the magical collars on their necks if the contract is broken. His first target is his classmate named Ayumi Takahara, training for the upcoming track and field race. Keima cheers her on by displaying banners using Elsie's magical raiment at the school field each day. When Ayumi is annoyed by his actions, Keima believes she will eventually grow to like him. After a confrontation with jealous upper-class woman, Ayumi sprains her leg the day before the meet. However, this injury was realized to be a fake since she doubted her confidence. Keima consoles Ayumi, saying for her to believe in herself. They kissed when Ayumi helps Keima from falling down the stairs, forcing the loose spirit out of her body and allowing Elsie to capture it. Ayumi won the race but lost all of her memories with Keima. She blushes when Keima congratulates her. Much to his confusion, Elsie has transferred to his school, claiming to be his sister. Keima is dismayed upon learning from Elsie that there are many more runaway spirits within the city. After meeting Mary Katsuragi, Keima's mother, Elsie claims to be her husband's illegitimate daughter, though this causes Mary to snap during a phone conversation with her husband for his infidelity. Keima refuses to accept Elsie as his little sister, since she does not fit the criteria in his view. However, upon hearing her story of wanting to be successful just like her older sister, Hakwa, Keima reluctantly accepts Elsie as his sister. During lunch at a popular soba sandwich stall, Keima and Elsie found their next target, Miu Aoyama, a rich girl who proceeds to buy all of the yakisoba sandwiches. Keima believes she is an easy target as she has all the characteristics of a tsundere, and a love confession might break her hard shell. Unfortunately, the confession does not work as planned, and Miu has her chauffeur to beat Keima. As Keima and Elsie follow Miu to her home, they are surprised to learn Miu was poor as she lives in a shabby apartment. Keima and Elsie overhear from the chauffeur that Miu is no longer rich since her father has died and her mother has been working hard to make ends meet. The chauffeur leaves in disgust after the proud Miu refuses to stop pretending to be rich. Miu catches Keima snooping around and quickly goes back to her apartment. Since Keima is the only one to know her secret, he can use it to get closer to her. Keima becomes Miu's new chauffeur by biking her to school in various elaborate bike carriages made by Elsie's raiment each day. As he eventually gets tired of driving her to school, Miu almost tempts to whip him, briefly making her smile, but quickly reverts to her cold expression and goes home. Keima now begins the next stage of his plan by bringing her to a grand ball by invitation. At the ball, Miu is upset that Keima brought them to the mansion gardens, but Keima gets her to teach him how to dance. However, after encountering a few noblemen who look down on Miu's current status, Keima finally tells her that she should stop pretending to be rich as an act to look up to her deceased father, convincing her to let go of the past and move on and live her own life. Keima kisses Miu, and the spirit from her body is captured by Elsie. The next day, Keima and Elsie meet Miu, now without any memories of Keima, who has a change of attitude and has accepted her family status, and burns incense for her late father. However, she still acts proud. MC attempts to finish and get the heroine, Sora Asuka, from a bishoujo game named Crayon, but the game has many bugs, including one that loops a previous scene over and over again. Not making things any better is the fact saving the game only crashes it, and the game company that made it is now bankrupt. Thus, there are no patches to fix this buggy game. In order to avoid the bug loop and finish the game, Keima forcefully enlists a reluctant Elsie to help record the choices that he made in the game. Elsie is at first confused about why MC takes the game seriously, but soon respects his dedication, helping the girls in his games just like the girls he helps in real life. After many attempts, Keima finally manages to avoid the loop bug and goes to the next scene, but unexpectedly gets into another bug, resolving him to try again much to Elsie's horror. An article about Crayon reveals a rumor that someone managed to get the ending, hinting that Kima was able to finish the game. Elsie has become a fan of the popular teen idol Kanon Nakagawa. However, Kima shows no interest in her, explaining the flaws of idols in real life compared to video game heroines. Unknown to both of them, Kanon just so happens to be a classmate in their class and is coming back to school. When Kanon meets Kima on the school roof garden, she is shocked and depressed to learn Kima has no idea who she is and proceeds to tase him repeatedly. Elsie detects an evil spirit inside of Kanon, being Kima's next target. Kanon vows to make Kima acknowledge her and make him her fan by holding a private concert just for him, but Kima ignores her as he believes it is a trap as boys should be chasing girls and not the other way around. The next day, Kanon holds another concert for Kima, which he ignores again. A sad Kanon suddenly starts to disappear in front of Kima and Elsie. Kima and Elsie realize that Kanon is actually turning invisible because of the spirit inside of her and manages to stop Kanon from tasing him again by praising her song. As Kima sends Elsie to investigate, they learn Kanon was once a member of the pop idol group Citron before they disbanded and has never played any songs from her old band. Kamon's need for attention was the result of people not noticing her in the past. Kima later receives an email from Kanon and cheers up the depressed Kanon at her television shoot. Kanon continues sending Kima an obsessive number of emails to visit her whenever she feels down. With the relationship going smoothly, Kima agrees to come to Kanon's Christmas Eve concert at Narusawa's Seaside Hall, where she will perform in front of 10,000 people. On the day of the concert, Kanon is again nowhere to be found, and Kima knows it is time to go to the final stage of his plans to capture Kanon's heart. As Kanon prepares for her concert, she soon gets second thoughts and fears that she will mess up and be forgotten again, causing her to turn invisible. She leaves the stadium, which sends the backstage staff looking for her. As the concert draws near, Kima finally finds Kanon at a nearby building. Kima knows why Kanon fears being unnoticed, telling her not to seek attention as proof as an idol, since her hard work to become one was the proof all along. With his encouragement and her fans cheering for her, Kanon kisses Kima, which causes the loose spirit in her to leave and be captured by Elsie. Kanon returns to the stadium and receives letters of congratulations for her progress thus far from her two former bandmates, Yuri and Lime. She goes up on stage and gives an amazing performance to a large crowd. As Kima and Elsie leave, he tells her his views on idols have not changed, but said Kanon is not an idol, but a shining star. This episode features 4 different perspectives happening on the same day. Elsie is angry that Kima called her useless for making his lunch due to having bizarre ingredients that are still alive. After her friend Chihiro advises her on how to impress Kima, Elsie decides to make a strawberry cake for him. Unfortunately, she misunderstands the recipe instructions and mistakenly uses hellish ingredients instead of normal ones, causing many accidents, including releasing a mandragon and blowing up the home economics classroom. At the same time, Kima irritates his English teacher Ichiro Kodama, who dislikes the fact Kima constantly plays games during class, yet still manages to get perfect scores on tests. After getting into an argument with Kima about this at gym class, Kodama is chased by the mandragon. The mandragon eventually arrives at the Katsuragi residence, where it drops Elsie's cake. Kima returns home and finds Elsie's cake and eats it out of guilt. However, because he was hiding, Mary mistakes him for a thief and hits him on the head with a vase. Kodama arrives at the Katsuragi residence for his meeting with Mary, but sees the mandragon get eaten by the lunch that Elsie made earlier, scaring him away. Elsie returns home and vows to make another cake for Kima. Despite having eaten the cake, he tells her that he does not like sweets, much to her chagrin. Kima orders Elsie to go to the school library to learn modern human history after learning her knowledge about human history is 2 centuries out of date. Instead, she becomes fascinated by a book about fire trucks. When she looks for more books about fire trucks, she asks one of the librarians, Shiori Shinomiya, and detects a spirit inside of her. After bringing Kima to the library, the two are amazed that Shiori managed to find 458 books related to fire trucks. While Kima thinks Shiori used the library index, Shiori, deep in thought, wants to tell him she was able to find them as she remembered all the books she reads in the library, but is too shy to speak up. The next day, Shiori arranges the books in the library and explains her love for books. MC is aware of how shy librarian girls like her are easy to figure out as they are a common character in games, but unlike games where he can read what the character is thinking, finding out what Shiori is thinking might be more difficult. As Shiori removes some books to be disposed of and laments to herself about their fate, Kima helps her get one book she cannot reach. Shiori tries to think on how to thank him but fumbles over her words while thanking him. Shiori is embarrassed about what she said and tries to leave, but when MC comments on why books are useless nowadays, with much courage and anger, she verbally calls him stupid before quickly leaving. Kima later reveals to Elsie that he is purposely angering Shiori in order for her to speak up. It is revealed Shiori has been unable to speak normally to people due to her shyness, so she has been exploring various books to compensate for this. The next day, the library committee has decided to add a media room to the library. Shiori tries to give her opinion to the committee but is too shy to speak up. Later, she catches Kima writing in one of the library books, which he justifies that he was making corrections and comments about how books cannot instantly be corrected, upsetting Shiori. The next afternoon, she catches Kima doing it again, only to realize he is scribbling in his own book. In anger and confusion, she starts thinking out loud without realizing it until Kima points it out. The next day after that, Kima introduces himself to Shiori and talks about the library, now that she is speaking normally to him. With Shiori now speaking up, Kima decides it is time to capture her heart after finding a library notice to dispose of library books for the media room. Shiori locks herself in and barricades the library to prevent the library committee from disposing of books for the media room. As the committee tries to get inside, Shiori falls asleep and dreams about how her love for books began until she is awoken by Kima, who manages to enter the library through a hole at the rooftop made by Elsie with her raiment. Kima has come to support Shiori in her protest and stays close to her. The library committee cuts the electricity to the library, surprising Shiori and causing some books to fall over them. As she hugs MC, Shiori tells him that only he understands her love for books and her reasons for protecting them. However, Kima calls her a liar, saying that she did not barricade herself to protect her books, but instead herself to the world. MC already knew that she always wanted to socialize, but her fears of being misunderstood prevented that, which is why she reads books as an escape from the real world. Troubled with this revelation, Shiori feels unsure of what to do until Kima drags her out of the rubble of books, telling her that he will give her courage and kisses her, which releases the loose spirit from her body, allowing Elsie to capture it. As the library committee enters the library, Shiori finally speaks up for herself and explains her reasons, which the committee agrees to have a meeting. In the epilogue, Shiori feels like she has forgotten someone who was with her during her protest, so she writes a story on what she remembers. Due to helping Elsie capture spirits, Kima has gathered a large backlog of new games he has not played yet. During the weekend, he plans to finish all the games in his room by playing 6 games at the same time, doing so with impressive speed while still managing to logically make the right choices and enjoy each game individually. But he suffers from burnout later on. Elsie finds this shocking yet bewildering and leaves him alone. Realizing he cannot finish all of his games at this pace, Kima decides to up the ante by playing 24 games at once. Kima finally manages to finish all of his backlog games except one as he is too tired to continue. But he soon starts hallucinating that all of the game girls he captured are encouraging him to not give up. Rejuvenated, he finally finishes the last game and follows his game girls into the game world where they all sing and dance together.
てな感じで、私の後輩が教育実習にやってきた。
12 seconds later.
大丈夫？風の割には。あ、桂木くんが反応した。先生、力になるから。
入籍なんて。
ダメよ。生徒と先生がこんな。教師と生徒がこんなの。
A few moments later.
なぜならお前は帰ってきてよ。
With this, we end our video. Stay tuned for the next part and watch our other quality contents. Stay safe. Bye.